All right, everybody, welcome in Justin Kinner, Norm Greavy. We are live here, the University of Dayton Arena, the TBT on WING. We got Carmen's crew, the Ohio State Buckeyes alumni team in action here again. Justin Kinner, Norm Greavy bringing you TBT action here tonight. Norm, welcome in. How are you?
Good to see you, Justin. Good to be here. It's going to be a great matchup with youth versus the Carmen's crew experience and the veterans.
Absolutely. Again, a little bit of a different look for this Carmen's crew team from what we've seen throughout the history of the TBT. As a lot of these guys, kind of a new era. I keep hearing people. I was listening to Hummel and William Buford talk a little bit before the game started. They were talking about, just kind of how different that the team is and the makeup is at this point. So it's pretty interesting seeing just the different caliber of players that are out there. The Wesson brothers, Kyle Young, CJ Jackson, a lot of the Chris Holtman era players leading the way for the Buckeyes on the floor right now.
Kyle Young off the bench. Wilkins inside. Wilkins' little son, who's not little.
All right, so now we are in the middle of the action right now as we are off and rolling here from the University of Dayton Arena. TBT on WING. Team overtime taking on Carmen's crew. Team overtime with a 1-point lead at 6-5, 6:47-3 from the right wing is no good. Chasing it down to CJ Jackson. He opts to let it go out of bounds. It'll be Carmen's crew basketball, Norm.
Yes, the Carmen's crew, they got Dime inside, who's he's supposed to be really one of the better players in the tournament. Caleb Wesson and the Wesson brothers are going to be a tough challenge for team overtime, which is like overtime elite.
Jackson tries to kick it to Wesson in the corner and a little bit too far out of bounds, and that's going to be a turnover for Ohio State, and already going to see a substitution. Not for Carmen's crew, though. That was for team overtime, and coming in and checking into the game for team overtime, that's number 21. In Caveira coming in.
Wilkins comes out. He's the GM of overtime and the youth program. So he's really trying to build that program up to like a G League alternative.
All right, again, Carmen's crew in the man-to-man defense, a little behind-the-back pass to the big man at the top of the key, and Samachu. Allen's going to drive along the baseline, and it's a near turnover. It's deflected out of bounds. It'll stay here with team overtime, but scrappy defense by Carmen's crew that's deflected. Very good defensive possession there, but now they got to buckle down. 7 seconds on the shot clock.
Samtu's only 18 years old, an amateur. He's going to be at UK in another year. He's one of the top-ranked players in the 24 class.
So that's what's unique about this makeup is a lot of these teams are some alumni teams, guys that played in college, played together, and that's not what this team overtime team is they shot clock violation there. It'll be Buckeye basketball as they trail by 1.
Yeah, their best player, Romello White, played at Ole Miss. 18 points a game at Ole Miss, European veteran, and then the youth project in Santo.
All right, now bringing the ball down the floor, Jackson, as he's picked up on defense in a man-to-man. Jackson from the right wing kicks it over to the top of the key, picks up his dribble, ball fake, dribbles hard. He's going to go in, drops it off to Dime, as you talked about. A lot of interior defense there, and that's going to be tipped back in by the Wesson brother down low.
Yeah, good post up and a nice offensive rebound by Wesson.
Dribbles in with his left hand, picks it up, double team, but leaves a wide open shooter from the left corner, and that's an air ball, and that rebound pulled down by Wesson. Wesson brings it up the floor, finds Thomas cutting a transition, and the layup is good. Back-to-back buckets by Carmen's crew. It's a 9-6 lead, the Buckeyes' largest lead here of the evening.
Leak out by Thomas.
And again, that's more defense turning to offense here for Carmen's crew here. If you're just joining us, the TBT on WING. The winner of this matchup, Norm, will go on to Friday night where they'll await the winner of our next game, which is going to be the Red Scare and India Rising. And it'll be a foul down low, and it'll be Carmen's crew. So got to give team overtime some credit. They came out, they punched Carmen's crew first, but now all of a sudden the alumni Buckeye team is starting to kind of get in a little bit of a rhythm.
Well, Carmen's crew on the floor has Scott Thomas from Bowling Green, and obviously one of their best players back many years ago, Andre Wesson. They got to get him the ball. He literally looks athletic and he can play in this game very at a high level.
All right, now pushing tempo here. Team overtime trying to find a way to get a bucket to end their scoreless streak, and that's going to be stripped but called a foul, and that'll be called on Thomas. That'll be his first here in the opening quarter. 9-6, Carmen's crew leads it.
Javon Best and Kyle Young coming in. So Kyle Young, 4-year letterman at Ohio State. And Javon Bess, Flyer fans know who he is very well. He played at St. Louis, Defensive Player of the Year in the A-10.
It's team overtime basketball, sideline out of bounds. They get the ball in, and O'Reilly dribbles in, being guarded by Jackson, kicks it to the big man at the top of the key, attempts to take the charges. Weston, and he gets the call down low. The big man, that's what I love about these TBT tournaments is usually people like to call it an exhibition tournament. Absolutely not. In exhibition games, you're not taking charges. Am I right, Norm?
Yeah. That was a nice defensive play by Weston taking that charge. Romello White, their best player from Ole Miss. Looked like a iffy call to me, but I'll keep it quiet because the ref's standing right in front of me.
Yes. All right, Ohio State basketball now, or Carmen's Crew basketball, I should say. My apologies, but you're listening to Carmen's Crew on Dayton's radio home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, football and basketball. Weston at the top of the key, hands it off to Thomas. Imani, very busy hands there. Cross-court pass. Best handling it. See Kyle Young for the first time. That's a big name from the Chris Holtman era. Young at the free throw line, goes up, right hand, hook shot, and gets it to fall. The floater over the much bigger defender, Norm.
Yeah, one of the younger players on the Carmen's Crew squad. Had a great career at Ohio State. You know, didn't score a lot of points, but he was their energy rebounder. Did all the good things. All the things that you don't read in the stats.
Right now dribbling it in and the layup, and that's going to be an and one, and that may put an end to the scoring drought right now for team overtime. So 11-6, Carmen's Crew with the lead, an 8-0 run over the last 4 minutes, and that's going to force team overtime to call a timeout. All right, Justin Kidder, Norm Grebe, live here from the University of Dayton Arena. It's the TBT right here on WING. We'll step away for a few moments. There's a timeout on the floor. We'll take a timeout ourselves. We'll be right back with more Carmen's Crew basketball right here from the University of Dayton Arena.
Horizon Business Fiber keeps your network running. When your connectivity requires the utmost in reliability and security at top speeds, you need Horizon Business Fiber. We are your local provider for dedicated internet, Ethernet, cloud-based hosted voice, SD-WAN, and more. For a better fiber broadband solution backed by 24/7 locally monitored network support, visit horizonconnects.com/radio. That's horizonconnects.com/radio.
It's the TBT on WING.
Carmen's Crew leads it 11-8 over team overtime. They went on an 8-0 run over a 4-minute span, but an and one opportunity coming up here for team overtime coming out of the timeout.
Yeah, Carmen's Crew just needs to keep pounding it inside. They've got an advantage with their athleticism. Oh, team overtime. A lot of youth on that squad. 4 players under the age of 19. And Romello White's the only guy that's hit a jump shot for them.
Yeah, Romello White leading the way for team overtime, again, 6 points.
It's really neat to see Caleb Weston. Didn't realize how physically strong he was. You know, you get a misperception when you're watching TV. When you see him in person, you realize, wow, this guy is a stud athlete.
Exactly, and too, the same thing kind of whenever we saw Kyle Young make his way out onto the floor. Much more athletic than what he was during his playing days, that's for sure. But the 5 out on the floor right now for Carmen's Crew, again, coming out of the timeout. Thomas, Jackson, Bess, Kyle Young, and Kyle Weston again make the round out the Buckeye 5 for Carmen's Crew. So media timeout wrapping up. Sullinger, by the way, Satch, Satch and his son Jared Sullinger both lead the way, as the coaching staff for Carmen's Crew, which is pretty cool. And again, William Buford on the sideline as well. We were talking with him before the game began. Again, just not feeling the best. He kind of has a bum knee, but he did say if Carmen's Crew advances to Friday, he will be in action Friday night.
Yeah, he's trying to. We haven't seen Trevor Thompson either, who really was Red Scare's, outside of Scoochie Smith, their best player over the last 2 years.
You talked about that physicality of Weston a little bit ago, a little pick and roll right there. He good hands, catches the ball, goes up strong at the bucket and finishes, and that's going to make it now 13-8. You can tell right now with Carmen's Crew, a much bigger team So pick and roll action, trying to drop the ball down low to Jackson, who mishandles it. Pushing tempo, Jackson gets the ball to Kyle Young along the baseline. Kyle Young going to back down the defender. He's going to spin to his left shoulder, up and under, goes up with the right hand. It's blocked. Fans calling for goaltending. The referee said no, the shot was on the way up. It was not coming down. Howard faked the three, coming back in transition, and it's kicked out of bounds by Jackson. It'll stay here with team overtime.
Yeah, that definitely looked like a goaltending. Kyle Young with a little shot fake. Team overtime's going to have to find someone to make some shots. The defensive length of Carmen's crew is definitely a challenge right now for them to score on.
And he goes in, and again, that's going to be a big block and a strip right there by Weston. Defense turning to offense at the other end.
Andre Weston.
So you had the younger, or the, and then Carmen's crew sprints out in transition, and the other Weston catches it in transition. And 15-8 now, Carmen's crew with the lead. Ball stripped away. Weston thought he got another steal. He's been very active at the defensive end. Blocks, deflections, steals. They got a stud down low in the post, that's for sure.
Yeah, the Carmen's crew squad really looks together. You know, there's a lot of guys on the bench, a lot of activity off the bench.
2:15 left here in the first quarter. It's 15-8 Carmen's crew with a 7-point advantage. And
team over Trevor Thompson back in the game, and let's see how he plays.
The one advantage Carmen's crew has, not just over this opponent tonight, but for most opponents throughout this tournament, is they have 3 near 7-footers. The ball's deflected around the bucket. Trevor Thompson, as you say, his name comes away with the big rebound. Looks even bigger this year somehow, if that's possible. Woods going to come off the Trevor Thompson ball screen. Rhodes hits it over to Woods, or Bess, I'm sorry. Pull-up jumper, baseline, free throw line extended, knocks it down. 17-8, a 9-point advantage. Carmen's crew's largest lead here of the evening. O'Reilly with the ball at the top of the key, being guarded by Bess. Bess takes the ball on the switch. Bess with the deflection. Ball's loose.
Best A-10 defensive player of the year. You can see why, the way he's guarding the ball out there, and he gives up a three, but he was all over team overtime on that three, and the shot went in.
It was a much-needed three. O'Reilly is able to catch and shoot, and you talked about someone has to start hitting shots for team overtime, and that's what happened there. Trevor Thompson gets the ball in the post, being guarded by Samachu. Ball's deflected, and that's going to be a steal and a turnover. Now here comes team overtime. They hit a three the last time down the floor. O'Reilly kind of feeling it, kicks it out to the corner. A three from the corner. That one is missed. That shot missed by Howard. Kyle Young coming away with the defensive rebound. He opts to take it up himself. This time he hands it off to Bess. Bess on the right wing. 24 seconds of the shot clock. Hesitation dribble. Pull-up jumper along the baseline. Can't get that to fall. O'Reilly coming away with a defensive rebound. Quick outlet. A diving steal attempt. It is a steal. The ball's still live. It's going to roll along the sideline and out of bounds. It'll stay with team overtime.
That was a big hustle play by Andre Weston.
We're seeing charges. We're seeing them dive on the floor for loose balls. I mean, this has been
– it's a very physical game. And a couple of questionable calls on the charge and then on the goaltending.
All right, so now if you're just joining us, it's the TBT on WING. Justin Kenner, Norm Greavy on the call. Carmen's crew basketball here tonight. The winner of this advances to Friday night, where they'll take on the winner of India Rising and the Dayton Flyers alumni team, the Red Scare. Howard with the ball at the top of the key, tries to get it inside, and that's going to be a foul on Trevor Thompson. A little bit of a slow start for Thompson. He has the turnover at the offensive end and a quick foul right there.
Well, the one thing is about this is as you get older, can you stay in shape for late July? Because their international season's over about 3 months ago.
Yep.
And you can get used to going to Waffle House, that's for sure.
O'Reilly coming off the ball screen, thought about it, tries to get it inside, deflected by Kyle Young, and now pushing
nothing
tempo.
there. He had a wide open three and tried to force it into
Woods being picked up by Bowman.
Santo.
Now Weston on the right wing. There's 19 seconds left here in the quarter, and the Buckeyes lead at 17-11.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion, never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep, switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At SimpliSafe, we've designed award-winning home security with advanced sensors, HD cameras, and now this 24/7 LifeGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
It's the TBT on WING.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Justin Kenner, Norman Levy with you here at ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM. We are off and rolling here live from the University of Dayton Arena. Carmen's crew, Ohio State basketball alumni team, off and rolling here right now, and they're feeling themselves. Norm, it's 19-11, and really
Kyle Young's giving them a lift off a nice tip in there off the missed shot by the point guard for Carmen's crew. Drove and beautiful tip in.
And that three missed from the top of the key, and a big board coming away. Howard up at the right sideline. And now they'll try to see if they can get a little bit of a rhythm coming here, and that's going to be a foul. That's on number 11 for Carmen's crew. And Tate
played at Northern Kentucky and Arkansas. Very good player in the Horizon League. And had a good final year at Arkansas as well. The brother of Jayshawn Tate, who played at Ohio State.
19-11. Carmen's crew still with the lead, and that's going to be a big shot if it goes. And that's Amani, I believe, that's able to get that shot to fall. That's what they need more of.
Attacking too far into the rim, and they're creating charges. That was a nice pull-up.
Get the ball inside. Weston draws contact. They're going to call the foul on the ground before he started going up. But just the complete size advantage that Carmen's crew has. Kyle Young, Caleb Weston, everyone. Just a size advantage at pretty much every position out on the floor right now.
Damian Wilkins guarding Kyle Young, son of Dominique Wilkins. He's about 35, 36 years old now.
Tate handling the ball at the top of the key. 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Kyle Young gets the ball in the post on the right block, met by a double team. He kicks it down low, and Weston cutting to the bucket, and a little catch and finish at the rim.
Great post feed and a great post pass by Kyle Young to the cutter, Weston.
Tate picking up the ball, coming down the floor. A high hand coming out, and the big man going to go right. at Kyle Young. 16 seconds on the shot clock. 6:34 to go. Carmen's Crew leads at 21-13. He reached for it. Goes right past him. Misses that shot. Kyle Young with the rebound. Kyle Young takes a few dribbles.
Shot by Ramel White. One of the better players to come out of Mississippi.
Wesson gets to Tate in the corner. Wesson goes right back towards the rim, kind of waiting for it, but Tate kind of frustrated. No foul was called, and now quickly is Kyer coming at the other end, and this time he finds O'Reilly, the left wing. Three, good if it goes, and it is. And now all of a sudden, team overtime starting to feel it a little bit, Norm, and it's 21-16, just when we thought that Carmen's Crew was about to start to run away with this one.
It was a nice drive and kick to O'Reilly. He's bringing his auto parts.
Well played. Well played. Tate reverses it over to Weston. Weston, top of the key, takes the three, and the Buckeyes, Carmen's Crew, responds with a three of their own, and it's back to an 8-point advantage now, 24-16, 5:39 to go. O'Reilly crosses over Woods. Woods strips it, steals it. Woods, no one in front of him. He's going to go all the way for a very anticlimactic layup, but it is 2 points. I think the crowd was anticipating a throwdown there, but that's obviously not what happened.
Well, a former Charlotte and Wake Forest guard. Amazing, just like Red Scare and Carmen's Crew, they both have a lot of guys from various universities and colleges. It's not just all Red Scare and Carmen's Crew alums.
I think it's tough to get an entire roster of former players put together, but the core for the Buckeyes is Buckeyes, the core for the Red Scare that will play next.
Absolutely.
But, and I think that's pretty neat. Best coming away in transition, getting the ball inside. Trevor Thompson back in. 26-16 Buckeyes make it 28-16 Buckeyes. Trevor Thompson, much better start for him in this second quarter, Norm, because earlier when he came in, he had the turnover down low. He got called for a few fouls right off the bat. But again, just providing more of that depth down low in the post for Carmen's Crew as they lead it by 12. There's 5:11 to go here in the first half. Norm Gravy, Justin Kinner here from the University of Dayton Arena. While we have a moment, timeout on the floor, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. The TBT coverage, even though we're bringing you Carmen's Crew basketball. We caught up with Joey Gruden earlier in the week. We've been, previewing these TBT matchups. All of our TBT coverage for the remainder of the week is presented by Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. We're pretty familiar with Tim's. Shout out to Marty and Nick and the guys over at Tim's. Love their partnership and love that they're a part of our TBT coverage, even for this Carmen's Crew matchup. We also have Orion Sports Medicine. Dr. Phil and his staff and his team of physical therapists do a fantastic job. I know he just took a job with the Indiana Pacers, so he'll be, he was a professor out here.
What's he going to be doing for the Pacers?
He's on their, he's part of their staff as far as the training and everything else. So that's pretty cool. He's going to be in charge of keeping Obi Toppin healthy and on the floor. That's going to be Dr. Phil.
Back with Obi there.
But Dr. Phil's been a longtime supporter of our any programming that we've had on WING. If it wasn't for him, he's been one of our big time supporters over the years, that's for sure. And then, of course, Frickers as well, another big time supporter of the TBT coverage and helping us bring you Carmen's Crew basketball here on Dayton's radio, home of the Buckeyes. All right, both teams coming out of the timeout, 28-16 Carmen's Crew. Trevor Thompson was the last Buckeye to score, forcing team overtime to call the timeout. A nice little play and a slash to the bucket. And again, the size for Carmen's Crew, just too much right now for team overtime.
Yeah,
Norm.
Thomas, the Bowling Green 33-year-old. Looks like he's been playing at the Y a lot lately.
Yep.
Oh, another block.
Thomas has his shot blocked, as you just talked about, but they get it back. Thomas, this time, ball fake at the three, stays behind the three-point line. He airballs this one, but there's Trevor Thompson to clean it up. Actually, he misses his first two shots, but gets a foul in the second one. You can tell the frustration starting to settle in right now. Samachu just punched the ball down to the floor, and it came up, Norm. I don't know if you caught it, but it kind of bounced up and popped him right back in the face. He tried to act like it didn't happen.
Yeah, a little malfunction there, a little Shaq Fu there.
Trevor Thompson misses the first
Santa's
of two
only
free throws.
18 years old going against Trevor Thompson, who's at least 30.
And that's what's very unique about this. You're right. I mean, because of the fact that I keep forgetting that all of these are not just alumni teams. I mean, you could have any. I mean, technically, if you and Velvet and a bunch of former Flyers want to get a team together, we call my guy Mark Ashman.
That's
you guys
right.
could go out there. I mean, I don't know how long the run for you guys would be, but
we could get a minute out there.
Hey, you were
another rebound.
Your style of play, you were ahead of your time, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Just catch and shoot and bury
this
the
is
three.
The kind of game where a shooter could really let loose out here. It's such a physical game, and there's a lot of missed shots.
That's for sure. 4 minutes to go, by the way, in the first half. If you're just joining us, 29-16, Carmen's Crew with a 13-point advantage. Trevor Thompson hands it off to Best. Best's going to go right back inside. You could tell when Thompson's inside, they're trying to feed him the ball because there's just so many size advantages, I should say, and that's a big block, but the foul coming before the block by Woods, and that's going to allow free throws coming the way of team overtime, and that's going to be Lewis who will have a crack at it. He's yet to score in his couple minutes.
Jalen Lewis, another 18-year-old that plays for Overtime Elite. So might be hearing his name in the short future.
All right, Justin Kidder, Norm Gribby with you here, University of Dayton Arena, the TBT on WING. 3:50 to go here in the first half, 29-16. Carmen's Crew leads it. Timeout out on the floor, full timeout. We'll take a full timeout ourselves. Justin Kidder, Norm Gribby, we'll be back in just a moment. It's the TBT on WING.
Staples has big savings on everything you need for back to school or stocking up the office. Save on signs, banners, and posters expertly printed by Staples Print and Marketing Services. Save on the latest tech and tech total support plans to keep your new or existing PC running right. Plus, save on all your back to school essentials from notebooks to markers. And right now at Staples, you can save even more with $10 off your in-store purchase of $50 or more. Get everything for the office and the classroom for less at Staples. N729. In-store only. Exclusions apply.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that is experienced working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sports, sports medicine, strength and conditioning, and more at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information, visit OrionSportsMedicine.com.
It's the TBT on WING. Back to more Carmen's Crew basketball on 1410 ESPN Radio and online at wingam.com.
We just heard the spot for Orion Sports Medicine, as we talked about earlier. Congratulations to Dr. Phil and Logie again being named as the Director of Performance and Sports Science for the Indiana Pacers, which is really neat with his Dayton connection. He does a lot of work with a lot of local high school teams. He works very closely with some of the colleges, including this Red Scare team that will be in action following this Carmen's Crew game, Norm. But that's pretty neat. Obviously he's a big-time lover of Dayton Flyers, and to see him get to work with Obi Toppin is going to be pretty neat.
UD grad.
Yep.
Well, Carmen's Crew, as we said, is winning the physicality war in this game as they have 18 rebounds. The team overtime only has 8 rebounds. And if team overtime wants to stay in this game, it's cut to 12, which isn't a big lead in these type of games. Jalen Lewis looks like a nice player for team overtime, only 18 years old. Amazing how some of these kids look at such a young age.
And they're going up against some much older veteran players. Graduates from
going against
top schools.
Javon Bess, who played at St. Louis, former Columbus high school player.
By the way, during that right there, what we just missed is, again, Trevor Thompson getting called on the moving screen there. It's another
the
foul
officials have to keep busy, Justin. You know that. They got to.
Yeah.
Edwin Young.
I was going to say, these are.
The glove is out here doing the game.
Got to give the TBT a lot of credit, too, because they're not just going to your local recplex and asking for anyone that wants to come, officiate. These are legitimate officials, by the way, who have been assigned to these games. And everything about the TBT is big time. And I think that's why we've seen the popularity of this grow over time. I mean, a lot of fans have filed in to watch this Carmen's Crew Ohio State team, and you know that the fans are going to continue to pile in as the evening kind of goes along as Red Scare plays next. The band's going to be here. I talked with Joey Gruden earlier in the week, and he said for Carmen's Crew game or for Red Scare games only, the band is going to be in attendance. They had about 30 people that had volunteered to put some alumni. I think that's pretty cool.
That is great.
We're not moving, by the way. We're going to stay right in this seat for this next game. All right, Woods coming off Trevor Thompson's high ball screen. 3:15 to go, 29-19, 10-point advantage for Carmen's Crew. Trevor Thompson, left wing, takes the three. No good.
Good box out.
Absolutely, and that was Effiani coming away with the board, and this time he finds a cutting Lewis, and Lewis draws the contact. He'll go back to the free throw line. That's where he's got all his
first quarter, Justin. Lewis didn't, and now he's got a couple free throws. And has a nice run out in transition. Misses the dunk.
Again, Jalen Lewis, 6'10", small forward. He didn't play in that first quarter, and you got to wonder if the plan was, not to make him part of the regular rotation, but with the constant, with the big size advantage that Carmen's Crew has, they have to find someone that can kind of hold their own a little bit. And at 6'10", I think Lewis is doing a dang good job here in the first few minutes of play.
Yeah, he has.
All right, 29.
O'Reilly is out for them as well, and he hit a couple of threes. I thought he brought a lot of energy to team overtime. Lewis makes the free throw. Cut to 8.
All right, so that free throw right there for Lewis, that gives him 4 points. He's 4 of 4 from the free throw line, but he has his work cut out for him. He's guarding Weston right now, has the ball at the top of the key. Rotates that one over to Jackson.
Jackson go right to him.
Yep. So Lewis guarding the very experienced Weston down low. Weston drop step, goes up with the right hook. And no, they're going to say it's an offensive foul as Weston trying to bully Lewis down low. He looks a little surprised by the call, Norm, but it's going to be a team overtime basketball. We're watching the replay here, University of Dayton Arena, and he's throwing that shoulder into him. Again, you could tell they're trying to take advantage of the mismatch down low. Yeah, no, I apologize. They reversed it. It is not an offensive foul, or it's not a defensive foul. So he's going to
it didn't look like a foul either way, actually. But that was one heck of a basket. I don't know if they did count the basket. Weston, they went right to Weston on Lewis. Lewis, the 18-year-old, 6'10", but Weston looks twice his size.
Frustrating for team overtime right now. They started to go on a little bit of a mini run. They cut it back to within single digits. But the big play by Weston at the other end now makes it 31-21, and he has a free throw coming his way. 2:46 to go here in the first half. 31-21, make it 32-21. Weston gets the free throw.
Former Mr. Basketball of Ohio from Westerville South. He was a dynamite player in high school.
I remember watching those teams too. Watching his dad coach. He gets that ball in from out of bounds, and now they're starting to heat up. Jackson, quick outlet pass to Thomas at the other end. Jackson going to come off the Weston ball screen. Thomas thought about it. Ball fake now. Weston trying to take the defender off the dribble. Jackson, ball fake. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson gets a little room. Thomas, catch, shoot. Doesn't draw iron, but the ball will stay here. Possession will stay here with Ohio State's Carmen's Crew as that foul will go against Samachu. 2:11 to go now. 32-24.
Samtu's getting a little frustrated.
Yep, and that's why they're opting to go to
another 18-year-old.
That's going to be number 34 for team overtime again, and that's Jazair Jackson. He's 6'11 as well. So they do, the thing about team overtime, Norm, is that they do have the bigs to be able to counter the bigs of Carmen's Crew, but where the size advantage is interesting is it's the guards of Carmen's Crew and even the forwards at times that are kind of giving Carmen's Crew the advantage. And as I say that, the small forward, we have Kyle Young who just rotated back in. So you have Kyle Young.
Kyle Young played great in that first quarter.
You have both Westons out on the floor along with Kyle Young, and the ball volleyed around, and it's going to be team overtime basketball. 2:10 to go, 33-24, Carmen's Crew.
I always want to finish strong in these quarters. I like quarters. I wish Division I college basketball was quarters.
2 minutes to go here.
Gives you more chance to close quarters. These last 2 minutes of each quarter, you want to win those 2 minutes.
Weston gets the strip, but it stays in possession of team overtime. Hesitation dribble. the switch. Wesson guarding the guard up top, and that's going to be a big three if it goes, and he gets it to go.
Yeah.
That's a big one, number 21, and Jericho Helms.
That's his second three he's a former NC State guard. Very nice player out of the ACC.
1:33 to go. Make sure you keep it locked in here at the half. Red Scare will be in action coming up following this matchup, and we had a chance to catch up with the head coach of Red Scare, former Dayton Flyer, Joey Gruden. So we'll talk with Joey Gruden coming up at the half as we preview the next matchup following this one.
Yeah, Jared Zellinger, the coach, wasn't his dad his high school coach at Northland, which I think's no longer. But, boy, they had a mini dynasty run there. Columbus Northland did. Beat Princeton in the state final. And a guy named Jordan Seibert played in that game.
That was back when the shot used to be full from the floor to the rooftop. And now the OHSA state tournament here at the University of Dayton Arena. I mean, this arena, I mean, with all the money that was piped into it, the arena is definitely getting its money's worth. You have the OHSA girls state tournament here, the OHSA boys state tournament here, the TBT. Of course, the first four. More tournament games in the NCAA have been played right here in this arena than any other arena in the country. 1:21 to go here in the first half, 34-27. Team overtime kind of going on a little bit of a run here. Carmen's crew has definitely slowed down. They've had multiple opportunities where they can kind of run away with it, but they just haven't been able to capitalize. Spin move inside, trying to kiss it off the glass, no good. Wesson coming away with it, pushing tempo. Sloppy pass right there, and that's going to allow an easy slam for David Effiani. But Kyle Young gets it quickly at the other end, and he responds. He can't get the shot to fall, Norm, but he draws the contact, and now he'll go to the free throw line. They slow down this team overtime run. They've cut it to within 4.
Yeah, like I said, you want to close. That's why I like quarters in basketball. You can close quarters out strong, where you can't do that in Division I basketball, where you just play halves, 20-minute halves. Gives you a chance to close the gap a little more. But money is everything in this world, and unfortunately, that means less commercials, less TV timeouts. If they switch they would happen to switch women's basketball's quarters in college basketball.
Kyle Young gets second free throw to fall, 36-29. 36-29 now again. Team overtime getting hot from 3, and their streak continues.
That's their 7th 3, I think, in this half.
Yeah, Howard getting that shot to fall. And
7 for 13. That's well over 50%.
Now Woods gets the ball to Dime again. Talking with William Buford before the game. He was really impressed with the play of Dime and said, look out for him tonight. But another sloppy possession. Dime coming away with the block. Queued him up.
That was an incredible block.
Yep, Woods coming away with it, pushing tempo, and he's going to scoop and finish in transition, 38-32. So right as we're talking about our conversation with William Buford, who talked about the exciting play of Dime, he gets the huge block that leads to a layup at the other end. 10 seconds to go as we close out the first half, 38-32, Ohio State. Howard with the ball with team overtime. Coming off the high ball screen. Howard, hesitation dribble, going to go right at Dime. 2 seconds. They get the ball into the post. They get the shot off in time, but can't get it to finish. And that'll do it after 1 2/4 of play. It's halftime. The Ohio State alumni team, Carmen's crew, leads it by 6. It's 38-32. 10 minutes up on the clock as it's overtime. And we'll be back in just a little bit. On the other side, we'll have our conversation with the head coach of the Red Scare, the Dayton Flyers alumni team. Talk about the makeup of that roster. We talked about Chris Wright and his involvement in this Red Scare team. What's the chances of us seeing him suit up tonight? We talked about all that and more with Joey Gruden. So he'll join us on the other side. You're listening to the TBT on WING. Carmen's crew, 38-32 here at the half over team overtime.
Make memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio State Fair, July 26th through August 6th. Experience your favorite fair traditions like the butter cow, Smoky Bear, the Sky Glider, and livestock animals. Enjoy delicious food, exhilarating rides, shopping, arts, exciting entertainment, live music, education, hands-on activities, and so much more. Get tickets to visit the Ohio State Fair, July 26th through August 6th at ohiostatefair.com.
Hold up, you're using Swiffer Power Mop? What would mom say?
Oh, she'd be like, a mop and bucket is the only way to deep clean your floors. And I'd be like, Mom, this is the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one that gets you a mop and bucket clean in half the time.
She'd never believe you.
I'd say, look, the solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket. And the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get into grout lines. That's why you're the smart one.
Really?
What? Mom said it.
The new Swiffer Power Mop. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Protect your engine with Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is designed for today's engines to dissipate heat and reduce friction and wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $33.99, plus 2 times O Rewards points. Limits apply. Choose Syntec exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Joining us now, he's the head coach of the Dayton Flyers Red Scare. He's a former Flyer himself. We got Mr. Joey Gruden hanging out with us. Joey, it's been a while, my friend. How are you?
We're doing good over here. We just finished up a practice on campus, so we're doing good.
Not too bad. Hey, this is what, year 5 for the Flyers, year 4 for you being the head coach?
Yep, year 5 and yep, year 4, like you said.
Now, I know this sounds like a silly question, but why do you keep coming back every year? What is it? Because keep in mind, director of basketball operations at Stetson, not that that means you forget about Dayton or anything, because once a Flyer, always a Flyer. But obviously, this has to mean a lot to you to continue to make this a priority as you continue kind of climbing those coaching ranks as well. But this is something that still means a lot to you, obviously, by continuing to come back every year.
Yeah, me and Bonsu, every year we finish, we're always like, man, I don't know if we're gonna do this again. But as a little time passes and we have some time to relax, we just love being back together with honestly all the guys like me, him, and our teammates that we played with and get to coach. Playing back in the arena, it just brings back so many good memories, and it's such a good week of not vacation, but like a good week to get back with your friends, play basketball, have some fun, compete, and try to win a lot of money. So it's a good time for sure.
So as you said, year 4 for you, but last year, this is year 2 at UD Arena. Last year was the first chance you had got the opportunity to pace the sidelines as the coach of the Red Scare at UD Arena. Just what was that opportunity like? Because some people that aren't familiar with the TBT, they just chalk this up to a little exhibition tournament or whatever. But I was blown away at like the game day feels that it actually had. Of course, Flyer faithful know nothing like them, and they made this feel bigger and better than ever last year. Just talk about what that was like last year and how that's motivated you to kind of look forward to this even more this year.
Definitely. I think playing in the arena is one of the main draws to keep us coming back. A lot of us didn't get to play in that new updated arena. So for us to come back, play in front of the crowd, and I heard even this year that they got the pep band coming. So it's going to feel like, back to the old days, like a real basketball environment, a real game. And for people that don't know, the whole lower bowl feels pretty full in there, and the music gets loud. They play the same introductions like they did in college. It feels like a real game, and the players are all playing for a lot of money, so it's definitely a very competitive environment. So yeah, like you said, it feels like a real, college environment basketball game.
The band you mentioned, is that just for the Red Scare games, or will that be for all the games?
I think it's just for the Red Scare. I mean, I think they got 30 guys signed up so far to play in the band and cheer us on.
That's really good. I mean, last year, you're right, though. That music, they had those speakers bumping, the fans were into it. The atmosphere was electric. And the only thing to elevate it, take it to that next level, obviously, the band. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited. I mean, like you said, the atmosphere is unbelievable. You go down 10 points and you still got the fans cheering for you and you hit a shot. It brings you right back into the game.
Scoochie Smith, Jordan Seibert, obviously. It was electric last year watching, obviously Scoochie make his first run with the TBT. Jordan Seibert, that's a huge talent to have back on this roster as well. Daryl Davis, who's Mr. TBT. He's been there almost every single year. But Rodney Chapman, again, making his debut for the TBT this year. I know you guys had teased that when you guys were dropping some of the guys on the roster, months and months ago. But what was it like getting Rodney to come back, obviously? And that was a big name to add to the roster.
Yeah, we're super excited for Rodney. Me and Jeremiah, we didn't get to play with him in college just because he was after us. But from everything we've heard and watching him play overseas, he's such a tough competitor and can play really well on both ends of the floor, which is exciting. And he brings some youth to our team. And, I think he's a really good sleeper almost as a pickup for us. I think he's going to do a lot for us and help us win.
Last year you had Joe Thomason, a Wright State Raider. No Joe Thomason this year, but you do have AJ Packer. I'm a big fan of AJ. He's been, when I first moved to Dayton and started, covering college basketball, I was working very closely with Wright State when I first came in. And AJ was one of the first players I gravitated towards, really enjoying watching him play. I know it's tough to find, big guys. I know Trevor Thompson's gone. You're limited on bigs. Having AJ is a huge plus for you guys.
Oh, AJ's been awesome, especially so far, and you only get like almost a week of practice, and everyone gravitates to him. Like you said, he's such a professional, great person, and, he can do a lot of things on the court, which is good. He can really shoot it for being how tall he is. So he's going to, create a lot of different advantages for us this year. And he's from Dayton. He knows the area. He's going to have family there. He's excited to play. We're excited to have him. It's like a perfect fit.
Joey Gruden with us here, former Flyer, head coach of the Red Scare, the TBT, back in Dayton this year. Of course, it's interesting when you talked earlier about, it's what motivates you guys to keep coming back every year. You and Bonsu just not sure if this is going to be your last year or not. But I think it's the fact that, yes, you guys get to, for one, reunite, but play together, coach together. But it's also like the fact that, I'm sure the arena is the big draw. Is that like the number one factor when you're out trying to piece this roster together? Like, is that the number one draw that gets a lot of these guys to come back?
Oh, definitely. I mean, just coming back to their city and their university to play. A lot of them are still living, not in the area or nearby. But a lot of teams, alumni teams have to go travel to a different state, or it doesn't mean as much to them. But for our guys to say, hey, we're playing at UD Arena, staying on campus, practicing on campus, and going to a lot of the restaurants you used to eat at, I think it brings back a lot of great memories for them, and it's definitely a huge advantage to help us recruit these guys to come back and play for us.
The biggest name you tried to get that couldn't do it?
Oh, there's a lot. I mean, I can name drop a lot. Jalen Crutcher, Ibby Watson, guys like that. Chris Johnson, Deshaun Pierre, Kostas Antetokounmpo. Any good Dayton Flyer basketball player, trust me, we've called and asked them if they want to play.
I was going to say, there's plenty to choose from. And obviously, guys are busy, and I'm sure everyone would love to do this. But there's one name that I'm very familiar with, that you're very familiar with, that Flyer fans are very familiar with. And this would be the ultimate cherry on top of what I love about the TBT. It's the nostalgia. It's the combining of eras. And there's going to be a Flyer great that is right now being advertised as just being on the bench. But I know everyone's getting pretty antsy and wants him to get his ass out on the floor. And that is Mr. Chris Wright. Where are we at? How much do you need help? What do we need to do to increase the pressure, to peer pressure him in to step in foot on that floor?
He came to practice yesterday and today. He's slowly participating more and more. We get him closer and closer each day. I think we put a jersey in his locker and he shows up on game day, and if he puts that jersey on and starts doing warm ups and the fans show up and keep messaging him on social media like they have been, I just, something tells me he's gonna have a hard time not playing, especially when he's out there warm ups in a jersey, dunks it a couple times in front of the fans, and they start going crazy. I just don't see him not wanting to play.
Yeah, like he's the one guy. So like, I think earlier in the year, you guys had teased like a big name that will be making his debut. It ultimately ended up being Chapman, but a lot of people were, trying to figure out who that was going to be. A lot of people said Chris Wright. And if Chris does end up playing this week, I mean, that is just going to be huge. I mean, you want to talk about an overlapping of eras. I mean, a lot of these guys missed each other, Joey, by like maybe a year or a class or two, but to see Scoochie Smith and Jordan Seibert out there with Chris Wright potentially, I mean, my gosh, that would just be huge.
I know. I made a joke to him yesterday. I said, "How about we do this, Chris? We're gonna have pass from Seibert to Daryl to Mike Sell, back to Scooch, lob to Chris Wright. How does that sound?" And he started laughing, and I think it got him excited. And I think he's really, I think he's leaning towards yes, but I can't make any promises. We just need those fans to come out and really yell for him in pregame warm-ups.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Definitely looking forward to it. Chris is out there. That's awesome. If he's not, it's just great to see his presence around the guys, of course. And we're really looking to see all of some of the biggest fan favorites, former Flyers, going to be in action coming up later on this week. The TBT back at UD Arena, the Dayton Regional, the Red Scare will be in action Wednesday night, taking on India Rising, and that's an 8 p.m. tip-off. If you can't make it there, that's fine. You can watch it on ESPN Plus, but we want that arena full. We want that place rocking, and we definitely want that second round matchup against Carmen's crew on Friday night. I know you guys are you're going to give me the coaches speak. I get that, Joey, but one game at a time. But I'm sure that's a fun matchup that you guys are potentially looking forward to.
Definitely. We're looking forward to, any matchup, but definitely we saw that one and our eyes lit up a little bit more. But we'll just play whoever, whoever they put in front of us. We're going to try to beat whoever they throw up against us. Doesn't matter.
All right, man. Good stuff. Joey Gruden. Always look forward to talking to him every year around this time. And we're really looking forward to the TBT at UD Arena coming up this Wednesday night. Again, Red Scare, 8 o'clock. Get your tickets at thetournament.com, and you can get all that stuff there. Joey, thanks so much, man. I know you're busy. I appreciate your time.
Oh, no. Thank you for having me.
It's the TBT on WING. Back to more Carmen's Crew basketball on 1410 ESPN Radio and online at wingam.com.
Good stuff from Red Scare's Joey Gruden. The Red Scare will be in action immediately following this matchup, but before the Red Scare can take the floor here on their home floor, the University of Dayton Arena, of course, we're going to wrap up this matchup here. 38-32, Carmen's Crew with a 6-point advantage. 9 fresh minutes up on the clock. Second half action officially underway. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Norm Greavy, and we're officially rolling, Norm. Team overtime started to get a little hot from the 3-point line, right? As we got to the half. It's going to be important that they start knocking down shots, and they already miss a wide open one at the free throw line extended.
A few careless turnovers by the Carmen's Crew to finish the half, kind of let team overtime back in the game. Some timely threes by Helms. He's got another one.
Ooh, and another missed shot for team overtime, and Helms right there. 38-32, 8:16 to go. Jackson, head fake, thought about it. Wesson kind of gives it right back to Wesson. A little hesitation dribble. By the way, Chris Holtman, Ohio State head basketball coach, is live here in attendance as well. He's taking in this Carmen's Crew matchup. And Dime, we talked about him. He had a couple big plays to close out the first half. He's tangled up down low, and he draws contact, and he'll go to the free throw line. He does that with 8 seconds on the shot clock and 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
Little high low to Dime. He's got a couple of blocks, saved a few baskets in this game. Got a little deep on the high low. Creates a foul.
All right, so Dime now steps foot to the free throw line, and he'll look to add to this Carmen's Crew lead. It's 38-32, a 6-point advantage for the Buckeyes alumni team. First free throw is up and in, and that's how the Buckeyes score for the first time here in the second half.
Decent crowd, lower bowls starting to fill up.
Yep, I think right now you're going to start to feel the energy start to pick up as starting to see a lot of that. Was it the Carolina blue, right? Is
it really would be great
Chapel
to have,
blue, not Carolina, but Chapel
great
blue.
To have Red Scare and Carmen's Crew play Friday night. That's what everybody's wanting to see.
Wesson picking up the ball at the top of the key. Caver handling the rock. Going to go right at both Wesson brothers. This time on the pick and pop, they get it inside. He's holding down low. They do call the foul on Dime. I mean, from our angle, you could see Dime kind of holding on to him.
Sumta definitely seems somewhat of a project, and that's not a criticism. Just means he's young, really hasn't played a lot of organized basketball.
Ball's in bounds. White with it. He's going to hand this one to Efiami. That's going to be a moving screen. That's going to be on 31, and Samachu right there gets called for it. It'll be Ohio State Carmen's Crew basketball. Trey Weston will take it out of bounds.
Every day's a learning experience for 18-year-olds.
Thomas and Jackson run up. A little full court pressure now being shown by team overtime. And again, trying to change the tempo a little bit. We didn't really see that in the first half.
Sumto has 4 fouls now, so he's
heading to the sideline. All right, C.J. Jackson trying to get the ball. Thomas coming away with it and awaiting, and not going to be met by a double team. They'll sag back, and now they'll have to set up their offense in the half court, but a little pressure being thrown right as he crossed half court. Weston along the baseline tries to back down the defender. He's going to go up, and that's a huge block by Jackson for team overtime, but he gets it back. Jackson coming away with the steal. Dribbling on the baseline, lobs it up. Wesson catches it, and he misses the lob dunk off the back of the rim. Stays in bounds. It's team overtime ball. No kidding.
That went up 30 feet in the air.
And a quick layup in transition. No, that's missed for team overtime. Wesson coming away with the board. He outlets it to Thomas. Thomas, one more extra pass to the corner for a wide open Wesson three, and he buries it. 45-32, and it's back to a large lead for Ohio State. Team overtime started to creep back into it a bit, but couldn't close the deal now. And now they have the work cut out for them with 6.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Ball is stripped. Coming away with it, number 21 in Helms. Dribbling along the baseline is Caver. Caver finds a cutter to the basket, and that's going to be the big guy, White. has a shot blocked. Ball's loose. Coming away with that one is Helms once again. Helms this time going to go up. Draws the contact. That wasn't Helms. My apologies. That was number 34, Jackson, for team overtime. And he'll go to the free throw line for 2 to stop the bleeding, Norm, and to get some points up on the board, which they desperately need.
Yeah, they cut it to 5 in that second quarter. But the rebounding advantage, 27 to 13. That's a massive win for Red Scare there. And as I said, if Overtime Elite or Team Overtime wants to get in this game, going to have to find ways to rebound and score. You know, you can't be one and done out there.
Yeah, Team Overtime right now with White at the free throw line, or with Jackson at the free throw line. He's able to knock both of them down, which is crucial. Not bad at the free throw line tonight. 7 of 11 from the free throw line, shooting 63%. Of course, he left a couple on the board as well. Jackson avoids the deflection, finds Thomas cutting to the bucket, goes up with the left hand off the side of the backboard, gets his own miss, finds Wesson on the kick out, can't get that 3 to fall, battling for it down low. Coming away with that rebound was White. And now here comes Helms. Helms being picked up by Dime, and they switch. Dime nearly gets the block, but the contesting block attempt there was enough to deflect the shot. 45-34, Carmen's Crew basketball. 6 away to go here in the third quarter. We'll have a substitution now for Carmen's Crew.
Helms got a little deep on that penetration. That's what I've seen a lot from both teams. It's getting to the rim, but you're getting too far. Use the little floater or the pull-up.
All right, now Wesson handling the ball at the top of the key. He's being picked up by White. Nice little cut to the basket. And another extra, back-to-back extras, but they can't get the shot off, and there's good interior defense by Team Overtime. Coming back in transition, that's number 7 in Caver. Can't get that to fall. Wesson quickly in transition. Finds number 20 in Best, cutting to the basket, kicks it out to the corner. Jackson for 3. That rolls out, and that's going to be a defensive rebound for Caver as Team Overtime starting to push a little tempo, Norm. Hesitation dribble, pull up 3 in transition, can't get it to fall. Wesson battling for it against the much bigger Jackson down low. Jackson versus Jackson, but Carmen's Crew coming away with it.
Good hustle by Javon Best.
Best has been very active.
A10 Defensive Player of the Year. Swipe that rebound away from Jackson.
Inside to Dime, back out to Jackson from the left corner, and he gets that one to fall. And a crucial 3 for Carmen's Crew. 48-34 now with 5:11 to go, and that's going to lead us to a timeout in the action. If you're just joining us, Justin Kenner, former Dayton Flyer, Norm Gravy, we are live here at the University of Dayton Arena. It's the TBT on WING. Shout out to our sponsors. I want to thank Frickers for being on board, helping us bring you TBT action here on WING. Orion Sports Medicine and our friends at Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Appreciate all of our sponsors who jumped on board to help us bring you the TBT.
Yeah, Tim's is a great place. Been a stalwart at UD for many years, and they've really put money into the facility. A nice upstairs deck.
Yeah, we've done a pregame show or two from up there, and yes, love the atmosphere there.
Sully's up there a lot.
Shout out to Sully. He's getting married soon, by the way.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
I thought you were going to be his best man. I'm very surprised that Sully did not ask you. Actually, maybe he did ask you. Maybe you rejected it, though. I'm not really sure. I know how salty you can get during the season with his hot takes. He's been silent.
It's been eerily quiet with Sully on Twitter this
summer. If I'm not
summer.
mistaken, I think someone made a bet with him that he wouldn't complain or talk Dayton basketball for the entire offseason, which has been very tough, especially because some of the the changes with all the mass exodus of players, with all the great transfers that have come into the University of Dayton, of course, for Anthony Grant.
I'm sure he has a lot to say.
When the Ohio State exhibition game was added to the schedule, he has to just be struggling. Yeah. But hey, he's holding out fine. Yeah,
Flyers are going to surprise people this year. I definitely think with Deron Holmes.
I was very pleased that he
that's going to put them back at the elite level of the A10, and they've got a very good non-conference schedule this year.
All right, we are back in action here. 48-34, Team Overtime trailing by 14 with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Little turnaround jumper.
Little shake and bake by Wilkins.
He did the interview on the TV side for ESPN. They asked him how he felt, and he said old, by the way.
Well, he looks old, but that was a nice move, an old school little shake.
Went up against Kyle Young, and Wesson spin to that left shoulder along the baseline, and he slams it in 50-36. Back to a 14-point advantage, 4:33 to go. Wilkins bringing the ball up the floor.
Wilkins brothers have been very tough to handle tonight.
Wilkins, hesitation dribble, going to go out Weston, and no, they're going to call the offensive foul, and Wilkins not happy with that one. But Weston, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is his second charge attempt and successful attempt on the night. He's arguing with the official, making his way down the floor.
Questionable charges tonight. I mean,
usually you don't see a charge called where you're up on the defense.
Yeah,
when you're up on the, All right, so we pick up here in the middle of the action. 4:22 to go here in the third quarter. 50-36. Carmen's Crew with the lead. Sideline out of bounds for Ohio State's Carmen's Crew, and Bess the inbounds pass. And now here comes number 15 in Woods. Good on-ball defense, by the way, by Helms. Weston back to Woods. Woods gets it back to Weston. You can't give him that much space.
No.
You give him that little window, and he took advantage of it.
Yeah,
mid-range jumper's good.
You called that, Justin. You've seen him play in high school.
Howard had an opportunity. Good ball movement here by Team Overtime. Unfortunately, they weren't rewarded for it, but they did get the open three. Woods getting the ball on the outlet pass, and now he'll try to set up the offense. Hesitation dribble going right at Howard. Backs down Howard. Woods going to spin to that left shoulder, turnaround jumper along the baseline, and now Carmen's Crew starting to roll. Their largest lead of the night is 18, 54-36 with 3:36 to go.
Well, we've talked about the size, and it's a major advantage for Carmen's Crew, and even the guards are posting up now. That was a good foul. That would have been a crazy dunk by Kyle Young right there.
It was Weston dribbling up the far right sideline, and nice little scoop pass to Weston, but he was fouled on the pass attempt, and that stops the play. All right, timeout out on the floor. We're going to take a timeout ourselves. We have about 3:25 to go until we get to the fourth quarter, and it's been all Carmen's Crew. They've opened this thing up here in the third quarter. Can Team Overtime respond with a little mini run to make the fourth quarter interesting? We'll find out. Justin Kidder, Norm Greavy live from the live here from the University of Dayton Arena. We'll be right back for more TBT on WING.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper, and you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
It's the TBT on WING.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kidder, Norm Greavy, bringing you Carmen's Crew basketball here tonight from the University of Dayton Arena, the TBT on WING. 54-38, Carmen's Crew with a large lead here with 3:25 to go here in the third quarter. Can Team Overtime figure out a way to slow down this offensive attack from Carmen's Crew? Leading the way for Ohio State's Carmen's Crew on the floor right now. Very balanced scoring. Woods and Young, Norm, with 6 points apiece. Thomas with 4. Best with 2. And right now, I think this is the first time in a long time that we haven't seen either of the Weston brothers out on the floor. Kyle Young dribbling in, has it stripped. Ball still loose on the ground, battling for it. And that's going to find Trevor Thompson, a name that we've called a lot of over the years, as you and I have called TBT for quite a few years now.
Definitely looks like he's slowed down a notch, Justin, over the last year.
So are you saying he didn't dump Red Scare, that they dumped him? Is that what you're saying? That's what's
No.
going on? No?
We could definitely use
we could definitely. They're going to need some size coming up here later on
He
tonight.
doesn't look as athletic as he was, but, Mother Nature has no one's getting younger.
All right, Trevor Thompson sets the high ball screen for Woods. Cuts to the basket on the pick and roll. The nice no-look pass to Trevor Thompson. All that you were talking about. He gets that nice lay-in. That was a very nice pass from Woods because it came off the ball screen from Thompson. But you had Kyle Young. You had him kind of cut along the baseline there, and the defense kind of dropped towards him, and that left him wide open for the nice scoop shot right there in transition. 58-40 now, 2:17 to go. Carmen's Crew with the lead.
Yeah, if you're team overtime, you really want to find a way to get some open looks here. Everything's at the rim, contested. Another turnover.
Woods coming away with it quick in transition. He tries to throw his body into the defender to draw the foul to get the layup, but he hits the ground hard, loses the ball, and now team overtime has a chance to go on a little mini run here, and that's Bowman. Spin move in transition. They're trying to figure it out to see whose possession this is going to be. And it looks like it might be team overtime basketball, and it is. So that's going to be Howard, who's taking the ball out of bounds underneath, or O'Reilly. Quick catch and shoot. No one underneath fighting for an offensive rebound, and that fell into, I think, 3 hands of Buckeyes underneath. 1:46 to go.
Another rebound for Carmen's Crew, up to 33-18, a 15 rebound margin.
Woods with O'Reilly on his hip, goes up, hand in his face, can't get he does get the shot to fall. That kind of bounced around a little bit, 60-40. Ohio State just wearing down team overtime. 1:26 to go here in the third quarter. Remember, the fourth quarter coming up, Norm. The cool part about the TBT is the Elam ending. Bowman, right-hand dribble, picked up by Thomas. And that's going to be a foul on Thomas, and now I think Bowman will have a couple free throws coming his way. But the target score, the Elam ending coming up here in the fourth quarter, Norm.
What does that happen at 3-minute mark?
At the 3-minute mark, they'll stop play. They'll add 8 points to the team that's leading. And then the first team to hit that target score comes away victorious. I was able to catch up with Nick Elam, a Dayton Flyers grad, a Dayton graduate, by the way. He created the Elam ending.
Right.
And we had him on earlier in the week on the Kidder and Kev show, so we had a chance to kind of chat with him about his invention and what it's like kind of watching his alumni play in a tournament that's utilizing the format that he created. And Tate, a lot of contact. He hits the ground hard, by the way.
So did the Aftershocks lose, Justin, or the Wichita region? I think they may have lost. Eberlin Drive, who's won many of these championships, they lost. The team that won last year, the Buffalo alums, I think they're still alive, but they had to come from way behind in the first game. So a lot of nasty natty, Cincinnati's team. I think they await the champion of this bracket.
We've yet to see the Red Scare run in to the Xavier alumni team. We've yet to see we did get to watch Carmen's Crew and Red Scare. I think actually when they met, if I'm not mistaken, I think they ran into each other. I think it was once, and that was back in 19. That was the first year of the Red Scare.
At Capital. I remember that. Was at Capital University.
Yep, Goodwin was the coach of the Red Scare for that inaugural season. It's been all Joey Gruden since then. 1 minute remaining here in the third quarter. 62-42, a 20-point advantage. Thomas picking up the ball again, switching on the ball screen, and that's going to be a foul on Thomas. And if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be his third foul. Thomas, very good. Just a balanced night. He's been playing very good defensively. He does have a couple buckets. He's 2 of 7 from the floor, but he has 5 rebounds, 3 assists. But he just picked up his third foul in 15 minutes.
A couple of the Gardner Webb backcourt of O'Reilly, and can't pronounce Damian Efianai's name, but both of those guys were very good players at Gardner Webb.
O'Reilly's first free throw is good, and right now they need points any way that they can get them. 62-43. Remember, they cut this to within a 6-point ball game early in the second half, but they went on a little mini run. They hit a couple big threes to close out the first half, and they would love to find a way to hit a couple shots to take some momentum into the fourth quarter. Tate met by a double team. Team overtime trying to speed up tempo with the full court pressure there. Tate waiting for the high ball screen from Trevor Thompson. Tate a little erratic right now with the ball. Needs to slow it down. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Tate at the top of the key. Goes right inside to Trevor Thompson, who backs it down. Doesn't get the shot to fall, but he does draw the contact. And now Trevor Thompson will have a chance to go to the free throw to shoot 2.
Good pass by Jalen Tate.
Trevor Thompson tonight, Norm, 7 points, 3 of 5 from the floor, to go along with 6 rebounds as well.
Yeah, tough third quarter for team overtime. Just didn't come out with the intensity. It's very important to come out of these halves ready to go. Even whether it's high school or college basketball, the NBA,
it's kind of setting the tone and feeding off that.
Yeah, a lot of times you come out a little lackadaisical, and when that happens, especially when you're down, it's not good. But credit to Carmen's crew coming out, made a few adjustments of continuing to get the ball inside.
So Trevor Thompson making both of those free throws. He'll step up. He has 9 points and 6 rebounds in 8 minutes of play. He was just substituted in for Dime. So 30 seconds, about 4 seconds separate the shot clock and the game clock. It's 64-44. Carmen's crew with the lead. O'Reilly being guarded by Tate coming off the white high ball screen. And that's going to be a foul on Tate, who was just riding the hip of O'Reilly a little bit too hard there.
Trying to pressure. Good D. Got a little extended, little trash talk.
So now O'Reilly will step to the free throw line for a couple. O'Reilly, big night tonight so far. 7 points. He's handled the ball the most of the night. Team overtime, Norm shooting the ball 35%. They're 13 of 37 from the floor. They're 11 of 16 from the free throw line. And 7 of 16 from behind the three-point.
Jericho White never could get going. He had the first 2 threes of the game, and I don't know if he's scored since.
Ohio State shooting the ball 51%. And what's wild is they're not a very good three-point. In fact, they don't really have any threat from behind the three-point line. They only have 3 threes here on the evening. The team overtime hasn't beaten that department. They have 7. 24 seconds. The shot clock is a non-factor here the rest of the way. They can hold for the final shot. Wesson being picked up by number 21 in Helms. Wesson tries to get the ball to Woods, being picked up by O'Reilly. O'Reilly, a very aggressive on-ball defender, by the way, doing a very good job on Woods. 10 seconds. Cross-court pass to Thomas. Thomas, left-hand dribble, goes up with the right-hand slam. It's blocked. Can't get it to fall. There's still time for team overtime to get a shot off. 2 seconds. They get it. O'Reilly from the corner. No good. O'Reilly going to get the technical, by the way. He was furious. In transition with 3 seconds, he catches and shoots. He believes the contact was a little excessive, and he's jumped up after the missed three-pointer in the corner right in front of Team Overtime's bench, and he gave the referee an earful, and the referee gave it right back to him, giving him a T. 64-45. Carmen's crew with a 19-point advantage here after 3 quarters of play. The officials will meet and try to sort it out, and
with an open three, probably wanted the foul on that shot.
You could tell.
But you don't get a lot of calls unless it's the NBA.
Yeah.
On three-point shooting.
So O'Reilly very animated there and a little too much.
What do you think about the fouls on threes, especially after they land? To me, that that's after the shot. That's after the release.
It doesn't impact the shot. I mean, not that you should be able to hip check guys or anything like
guys
that.
Are getting 3 shots, and the shot was taken 3 seconds prior to the foul.
If you're bodying them up as they're going up for the shot, obviously. But you're right. I mean, once that ball leaves the hand,
that's after the shot.
Anything if you get hit coming down, that doesn't alter the trajectory of the shot, right? I mean, that's what's wild to me. But all right. 3 quarters of action in the books. It's 64-45. Carmen's crew with the lead. 4th quarter coming up, as is everyone's favorite aspect of the basketball tournament, and that is, of course, the Elam ending. We'll be right back. You're listening to the TBT on WING 64-45. Carmen's crew.
The Hoop Collective Podcast.
I'm at our ESPN LA studios. You may remember that Bev did a couple of days of work for ESPN last year.
I remember. I was on with him.
He left a gorgeous Dolce & Gabbana suit here that is just spectacular.
You should wear it on TV today, Brian.
I do not believe it will fit me, only because the arms are too long. You're across the street. Come over and get it. It's got to be at least a $7,000 suit.
The Hoop Collective Podcast. Listen on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Thanks.
Get in zone.
How you doing?
AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store.
It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry, I'm late,
right here
my
for the
battery
time
died. And
I need a jump again.
at America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
It's the TBT on WING.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back here, University of Dayton Arena, the host site for the 2023 TBT, the basketball tournament. And, of course, we're bringing you all Carmen's Crew, Ohio State Buckeyes alumni team basketball here this season. We're Dayton's radio home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. And after a year off of TBT action, Carmen's Crew kind of reformed with a revamped roster. The previous roster that had guys like David Leidy and obviously William Buford and John Diebler and Aaron Kraft from the Thad Matta era. Now, a lot of these players are coming from the Chris Holtman era, who we caught up with earlier in the week. But we come out of the third quarter break, 65-45, a 20-point advantage. Best with the ball along the baseline, met by a double team, dribbles out, finds Kyle Young with the ball fake, and he's going to go right at White. White blocks that shot. Actually, that was not White. That was Samachu coming on the blind side there.
Yeah.
Very good defense by Team Overtime.
Good take by Kyle Young. Little shot fake. Seen a lot of shot fakes tonight, and it seems like everyone's biting.
Tate out of bounds underneath their own bucket. 8:46, 17 seconds on the shot clock. And that's a very nice left-handed hook shot right there by Dime. We talked about it earlier, but we talked with William Buford before the game. By the way, he is on the roster for Carmen's Crew, not playing tonight. He will play for Carmen's Crew on Friday if they can close out this matchup with Team Overtime. He spoke very highly of Dime, just talked about how athletic he is and exciting he is to watch play at both ends of the floor. O'Reilly misses that three, but fighting for the offensive rebound was number 31 and Samachu, who's been very active. No points for Samachu tonight. He has 4 fouls. Has not had a good game, but the big frame of him, I mean, they beat
a good
his
rebound
frame.
there.
Yeah.
You know, that was a good rebound. That's something they haven't been able to do is get offensive boards.
Caver takes the ball out of bounds underneath. It gets the ball inside to White. White being picked up by Young. He also picks up his dribble, trying to find a guard to get the ball off to, and O'Reilly coming through. He's being guarded by Thomas. I love the on-ball defense by Thomas. Very physical player. On the switch, O'Reilly dribbles through on the on-ball pressure by Kyle Young, and a bad shot thrown up. Starting to see the fatigue set into him. And now here comes Thomas for Carmen's Crew up the far right sideline, dribbling it up. 67-45, Carmen's Crew, 7:55 to go. They try to get the ball into Kyle Young, They kind of pushed him out a few feet from the block. By the way, from where we're set up, I look over. And remember I said earlier, we talked with Joey Gruden about how they had 30-plus former band members volunteer to form the band for
They're
Dayton.
coming in.
Yep, they are filling up now. The atmosphere for this next matchup is going to be pretty exciting. Red Scare and India Rising. The winner will advance to take on the winner of this matchup, which right now looks like it could be Carmen's Crew, has a commanding 67-45 lead. Bess, left-hand dribble, going to go right at the defender in Caver. Going to come off the dime, high ball screen. Quick reversal. Kyle Young thought about the three, left-hand dribble along the baseline, picks it up, spins back out, finds Thomas cutting, an easy lay-in, and the Buckeyes extend it to their largest lead of the night, 69-45.
That was a great pass by Kyle Young. Just a really smart player.
O'Reilly has yet to find his rhythm from behind the three-point line, and as I say that, buries the three, and a much-needed bucket for team overtime. 69-48, 7:24 to go. Tate goes up for the wide receiver catch, dribbles in, kicks it out to Kyle Young. Kyle Young goes up with the right-hand floating shot, can't get it to fall. Big rebound pulled down by Samachu. And now bringing the ball quickly is Effiani. Effiani, right-hand dribble, going to go right at dime, go up with the right-hand scoop shot, can't get it to fall. Defensive rebound pulled down by Kyle Young. Kyle Young quickly outlets it to Thomas. 7 minutes to go, 69-48 now. Things getting a little tight there around the half-court line. They're able to dribble through the pressure. Best going to back down the defender, being guarded by Effiani. You could hear from the sideline whether they're yelling for the 5 seconds.
Well, that was kind of a
foul.
Dime push, Cyril, some too, and lost a little composure there. And now he's coming out with Trevor Thompson coming in.
Getting closer and closer to the Elam ending portion of this matchup. 69-48, 6:54 to go.
Big Caleb Wesson coming in with Twin Towers in now, Justin.
You got Trevor Thompson with Wesson down low. Caver reverses that pass over to Effiani. Dribbles right past the defender. Pull up jumper, free throw line extended, no good. Ball volleyed around, and Wesson coming away with the defensive rebound. No guards come for the outlet pass, so he dribbles it up himself. Tate creates separation. Thomas
didn't see it.
Yep, it was a right read by Wesson because Tate was cutting back to the ball. The defender popped up, but here comes O'Reilly, going to go right at Wesson. No, he dumps it down to Samachu. A big dunk, his first 2 points of the night, and that makes it 69-50.
He got up. Man, he can get up. That kid.
Caleb Weston now handling the ball, trying to find a guard to hand it off to. Tate trying to find separation from O'Reilly, a very good defender. Ball volleyed around. Best coming away with the offensive rebound. 6 minutes to go, 69-50. Thomas takes the three, misses. Ball is loose. Trevor Thompson coming away with the board, but a foul coming before the offensive rebound.
You know, Kentucky has 2 7-foot centers that are both injured. And I know they went up to Canada and won that international event up there, but there was rumors that Cyril was going to reclassify into this year's class, but that's not going to happen.
Three taken and missed from the top of the key by Samachu, and now a defensive board for Woods, who just checked back into the ball game. Weston back to Woods, right wing, a few feet behind it, right at the TBT logo. Picked up his dribble, gets it into Trevor Thompson. Trevor Thompson, they gave him space. He takes the wide open jumper, no good. Defensive rebound by Helms. Helms going to get the defensive board, and he opts to bring it down the floor himself. Caver, hesitation dribble, going to go right up against Bess, and that's blocked. Ball is loose. Bess coming away with the defensive rebound, or with the loose ball, I should say. Bodies flying all over the place. 5:15 to go now.
Javon Bess finds a way to get any loose ball in that
paint. He does. Yeah, between Bess and Kyle Young, I mean, those are two great energizer guys to have on this roster for this TBT run. Weston going to go right at the defender. Finds a wide open Weston from the corner and buries it. And dagger, 72-50. 4:53 to go. Bringing the ball up the floor now is Effiani for team overtime. Effiani, 9 points here, one of the team's leading scorers. Hesitation dribble, kicks it back out. Caver with the extra pass. That's Helms. Left-hand dribble going to go right at Weston. Hesitation goes up and under. Right-hand shot blocked by Trevor Thompson. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Still plenty of time to work with. This time they go right back into the post. Going to go right at Weston, and that's going to be Samachu, who throws a shot up. Finally gets it to fall. He draws contact, and he'll go to the free throw line, Norm, for a three-point play.
Yeah, he's playing well this little fourth quarter. Struggled early out of the gate against the experienced Weston, and Trevor Thompson got him in foul trouble. But with 4 fouls, he sure has played well in these last few minutes of the fourth. 29 seconds till the Elam ending begins.
Samachu now at the free throw line trying to cap off this three-point play opportunity. He's 2 of 3 from the floor tonight. He is playing with 4 fouls, by the way, but he has 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 block shots. He can't get that free throw to fall. Trevor Thompson coming away with the defensive rebound. 4:25 to go. 72-52, 20-point advantage for the Buckeyes. Helms picking up Weston. Things getting a little physical there, and Weston kind of shakes him off.
Kind of got blind screen there on the ball screen. Got to communicate to your teammates.
And now, with 4:20 to go, things getting a little physical out there, and the officials trying to kind of
some frustrations coming in on team overtime. Bringing in Wilkins. Some of his bag of tricks that he can.
Oh, yeah.
Down 20, they're going to need a lot of bag of tricks to come back.
All right, folks, 4:20 to go. 72-52, Carmen's Crew with the lead. Justin Kidd and Norm Greavy here at the University of Dayton Arena. We'll step away for a few moments, and we're just moments away from the implementation of the Elam ending. More TBT on WING when we come back.
Now is a great time to schedule a back-to-school dental appointment. Dr. Lori Fitzgerald, president of the Ohio Dental Association, is here to tell us more.
Your child's teeth and gums need the right food, nutrition, and vitamins to grow strong and stay healthy. Help them maintain good oral health by brushing every morning and night, flossing, visiting the dentist twice a year, and developing good eating habits. As kids head back to school, it is important to know that foods and drinks high in sugar, acidity, and other cavity-promoting substances are often low in nutritional value and have the potential to create plaque capable of damaging tooth enamel. A back-to-school dental appointment can diagnose any potential problems and improve your child's oral health. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state, are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and obtain superior ongoing education and training. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know you are being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit oda.org.
It's the TBT on WING. Back to more Carmen's Crew basketball on 1410 ESPN Radio and online at wingam.com.
We appreciate everyone who's tuning in and hanging out with us here on this Wednesday evening. And if you can't make it out to the University of Dayton Arena, appreciate that you're tuning in to Carmen's Crew, Ohio State basketball here on 1410 Wing AM. Justin Kenner, Norm Greavy bringing you the action. Shout out to our sponsors. We want to thank Frickers for jumping on board as a sponsor.
That sounds good right now, doesn't it, Justin? Some Frickers?
Today's been one of my more busy days, and I just realized I haven't eaten today. I mean, other than snacking on some crackers and stuff, but I have not had food. So, yes, Frickers sounds absolutely
phenomenal
amazing
right now.
about now. I tell you that much. I can go for some of them brew fries.
There
Do
you
get
go.
the brew fries? You put the chili and the cheese on the fries, or do you get it on the side to dip it in?
Sounds good either way.
Either way, brew fries. I go for some brew fries. But I want to continue thanking our sponsors, obviously Orion Sports Medicine and Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. So they got it figured out. That was a flagrant foul, by the way, right before the timeout. And it was against Wesson. So now Effiani out at the free throw line. He gets a few shots, and he makes both of them. Crucial free throws there. Again, with the Elam ending about to take place, Norm, they need all the points that they can get because it's going to be a sprint to the finish line. The wild thing is we've called these games for years. The team that's down big, and then you add
Makes
the 8,
a run all the time.
And it's because there's no clock. The clock is eliminated. You have to make buckets. You're not holding the ball. You're not stall ball. And the pressure kind of gets to him. Howard handling the ball, trying to set up the offense. Getting the ball to
Carmen's
Effiani.
Crew in a 2-3 zone.
I like that little switch coming out of that timeout, by the way. The ball bounces around, and that's a big-time three. So they got 2 free throws and the 3, a 5-point turnaround. 4 minutes to go, 72-57, the next dead ball, and that's a smart decision right there, by the way, to call the timeout right at the 4-minute mark rather than risk a turnover for a layup or a 3 at the other end. And now it's time for the target score to be set. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to the TBT on WING. It's 72-57. 4 minutes remaining here in the ballgame. Actually, no, it doesn't matter about the time. It's time to set the target score. Back.
Why? Just think about it. Why is the #1 selling brand of chainsaws not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot? We can give you over 10,000 reasons. That's how many authorized local steel dealers you can find across the country. Visit one and you'll find a range of dependable gas and battery-powered tools, from trimmers to blowers. And you'll find service from experienced professionals. Real steel. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
It's the TBT on WING. Back to more Carmen's Crew basketball on 1410 ESPN Radio and online at wingam.com.
All right, welcome back. 72-57, Carmen's Crew, the Ohio State Buckeyes alumni team with a large lead. Right now, fans starting to cheer, Dayton Flyers fans. Right now, again, the band's getting set up. The Red Scare, because they'll be in action immediately following this, Norm. They're going to have the band in action. This place was we did the games last year. This arena, the lower bowl, just full. The energy, the music, everything was fantastic. The only thing it was missing was the band. Well, the band's here. All right, the first team to the target score wins. It's the Elam Ending. You add 8 points to the team that's leading at the 4-minute mark in the fourth quarter. And 72-57, the lead for Carmen's Crew. They need to score 8 before team overtime can get to 80, as they have 57 points right now. That seems like a very tough task, but we have seen the pressure of having to score and not trying to beat out the clock, Norm. We've seen that get to teams with these leads. I wouldn't be surprised to see team overtime make a little run here, but I think we know who's going to be awaiting the winner of the next matchup. Most likely Carmen's Crew. We'll see what happens.
Well, they did. They were down 20, and they cut it to 15, which was a big mini run with the technical foul on Weston and the 2 free throws and the 3 before that. Little stoppage to play. I don't know if that's TV oriented or a gathering at center court.
A lot of big performances tonight, by the way. Caleb Weston, 6 fouls. He's out. But he finished the night, Norm, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 of 5 from the free throw line, and 1 of 2 from the 3-point line. The other Weston brother, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists in 22 minutes of play. We talked about Dime a little bit ago. He has 7 points to go along with 3 rebounds. Woods with 8 points. Best with 3.
I thought Kyle Young had a good game. You know, just his typical shows up every night with the hard hat.
No doubt. And the total scoring for the Knights, I mean, you want to talk about Kyle Young, 6 points, 2 of 5 from the floor. But Norm, as you mentioned, just that he does the grunt work. 6 points and 6 rebounds in 17 minutes of play. It's a typical Kyle Young stat line right there.
A couple assists, a couple of nice tip-ins. Really an unselfish player. And I thought Keyshawn Woods, played a decent game. No turnovers. 8 points, got them in their sets. 3 assists.
All right, so here we go. Both teams making their way back onto the floor, coming out of the stoppage and play. This is a much longer stoppage and play as they are trying to sort some things out over there, but everyone seems to be back on the floor. So Dime, Woods, Bess, Weston, and Young are your Buckeye 5.
Well, it's important if you're a team overtime to not give up a basket early.
You're right, because you come out,
you want to get a little. You want to get a little mini run to kind of. And with Weston out, Caleb Weston, that is their leading scorer, makes it a little more interesting.
16 seconds on the shot clock. Remember, the time is no longer a factor, but you still have the shot clock, which forces you to still take shots. Weston handling the ball. Andre Weston handling the ball at the top of the key. He's being guarded by Effiani, and he misses that shot. So that was crucial. Team overtime getting that stop. Caver bringing the ball up the floor. Big possession here. If they could score, it kind of gives them that little confidence. A 3 from the corner and buries it.
Bowman.
72-60. It's a 12-point ball game. The clock no longer a factor. Ohio State needs to get to that 80-point mark to end this, but a little full court pressure now being shown. Dime getting the ball in the middle of the floor. Reverses it back to Bess. Bess going to get it back to Woods, who's going to reset it. Kyle Young, 6 points. Ball fake. Going to dribble along the baseline. He's going to go up strong. Tries to flip it up, but he draws the contact, and 2 free throws coming his way.
Yeah, you got to know your scouting report and who you're guarding. And Kyle Young is not going to take that 3, but he shot fakes and takes it to the rim like a bull in a china shop. Surprised he didn't get the free throws on that.
Oh, he did not. He did not draw the contact. It must have been before. Trying to get the ball into Weston in the post. Met by a double team. The ball is loose. Sloppy play by Carmen's Crew coming out. It's deflected, and they say it's going to stay here with Ohio State's Carmen's Crew, and it'll be out of bounds underneath. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Woods will take it out again. Dime, Kyle Young, Weston, Bess. On the floor, Kyle Young going to cut to the basket. Nice drop pass inside, and a missed opportunity there. This is where the pressure of the Elam Bending, you start to see some missed shots that were not missed shots in the first 3 quarters. Effiani reverses it over to Caver. Caver going to get the ball to Bowman. That 3 missed. Kyle Young, he rips that board down with authority. 72-60. Buckeyes still looking for their first bucket.
You got to hit threes, but that was a contested attempt there. Little rush shot by Bowman, the 18-year-old for Overtime Elite program.
Woods handling the rock. He's being guarded by White. They get the ball to Dime inside. Dime trying to find the slasher to the bucket, which was Kyle Young, and they get bailed out there because that deflection rolls out of bounds.
That was great hustle.
Yep.
On the defense, they call that the cover down, which very hard to do as a basketball player to guard 2 guys on the weak side of the floor.
Woods out of bounds underneath their bucket. Trying to find a way to get the ball inside. They get the ball to Dime. Dime hands it back to Woods in the far left corner. 72-60. Weston with it. Goes right back inside to Dime. Dime spins to that right shoulder, and there's Kyle Young, the hard hat that you talked about earlier. Dime, he rotated to his right shoulder, goes up with the left hand, misses, but the cleanup. Contact is made, and now free throws coming in the direction of Team Overtime. 74-60.
Yeah, Kyle Young's the kind of guy you got to have on your team.
That for a Dayton reference, a Trey Landers type player.
He's exactly like a Trey Landers. Trey playing in slam ball, right?
I see that. Yes, I see that. I don't think he played in that first game yet, right? I don't know if he's battling an injury or what, but this is the first year since he's
watch
graduated.
the game for the first time as slam ball. That's pretty interesting. I mean,
that wasn't your game in college. You weren't much of a slam ball guy.
That was a dead weight.
That's a dead weight ball. There you go. By the way, Caver knocks down the first free throw. Crucial for Team Overtime, 74-61. But, that's what was so tough about giving up that dunk putback by Kyle Young, because they initially got the stop. If Kyle Young doesn't put that back, it's, 72-62 and a much different vibe right now. But 12-point game. Carmen's Crew 74. They need 6 more to put away Team Overtime. And it's going to be Buckeye basketball after those free throws now. So now
I do like them pressuring.
Yep, and look for the trap coming out of the free. Oh, no, they went ahead and dropped it back. But the half-court line, they usually been sending that trap, especially in the corners. You want to keep it away from there, of course. 17 seconds on the shot clock.
Overtime switching everything, which has caused a lot of mismatches inside.
Woods gets the floater to fall. And that was a big on the switch. You talked about it. White, the much bigger defender, switch onto him. And I think that's when Woods' eyes lit up. Howard, hesitation dribble, kicks it over to the corner. That's O'Reilly. O'Reilly's been very active tonight. Effiani, hand in his face, pull up 3, buries it. 76-65 now.
Contested 3 on Young.
Woods bringing it up. Again, very scrappy defense right now by Team Overtime as they're playing with desperation. They don't want their tournament run to be a one and done. Kyle Young wide open for 3, buries it.
There it is.
And the Buckeyes are 1 point away from taking care of business and advancing to the second round on Friday night. Big shot, trying to extend this. That's no good. Fighting for it, and it's going to stay here. They say this foul is going to be against Kyle Young. Kyle Young, that'll be his second foul.
How many does Kyle have? 10 points?
10 points-wise, yes. That'll
11.
be 11, yep.
11 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists,
1
block, 1 steal, no turnover. I mean, that's called a very good basketball player.
It is, and you know what's even more wild about that, Norm, is the fact that with as aggressive as he plays and nose to the ground, just barrels after every ball, he only has 2 fouls.
Yeah.
That means not only are you aggressive, but you're a smart basketball player, and that's why he had such a great career at Ohio State. He was never a guy that you looked at and said, oh, man, we got to look out for him. But
now, was he a Thad Matta recruit, Justin?
I don't remember if he was a Thad Matta recruit, obviously during the Chris Holtman era, but I don't remember his recruiting story.
I thought he committed early to Michigan State. I'm not 100% sure. I thought he committed to Michigan State and backed out and went to Ohio State. I could be mistaken. They need a 3 here.
Talked about that 3. He thought about it. That was Howard. They're just trying right now to find a way to get open shots, and O'Reilly was the intended target on that pass, but they're going to call a foul on Woods. Woods not a fan of that call. Kyle Young playing his high school days at Massillon.
Yep. I think he originally committed to Michigan State.
He originally committed to Butler.
That's it.
He originally committed to Butler, decommitted, and then committed to Ohio State in June of 2017.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Norm,
Was
yes,
half
he was
right.
a Thad Matta. He was a Thad Matta recruit.
Okay.
By the way, that's an example of what you were talking about earlier with the three-point shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, closing out on the shooter, but again, when you throw your leg out there, which of course there's rules trying to prevent that from happening now. But 79-66, by the way. The clock is no longer a factor. The target score is 80. Ohio State's Carmen's crew needs one more point to punch their ticket to the second round. Things have gotten really, the pace of play has been horrible over the last, I'd say last 10 minutes. I mean,
just since the Elam ending in a way.
Which usually is to prevent that. But to team overtime credit, playing desperate basketball, so they're playing a lot more physical, so there's a lot more stoppage in play. But they've also done a good job of getting to the free throw line.
Carmen's crew only needs one more point.
Can you believe Carmen's crews only got to the free throw line 2 times tonight?
No, I cannot believe that.
That's because that's not. They've gotten there, and then you look at how many times team overtime, they've gotten to the free throw line 25 times. I was looking at the wrong stat. Kyle Young has been to the free throw line 2 times. My apologies. Ohio State actually has gotten to the free throw line 19 times. So nonetheless. All right, here we go. Ohio State looking to put it away. Dime with the ball. Has to pick it up. Doing a good job making him play faster than what he's accustomed to, and a very good timeout called by Solinger. Smart timeout. Big opportunity here for Solinger and his dad, Solinger, Satch, to draw up a big play. You don't think coaching matters in this type of tournament, but it will be interesting to see what they draw up here.
Young was committed to Holtman at Butler.
At Butler first, okay.
That explains it.
Target score is at 80. It's a timeout for Carmen's crew, and right now it'll be interesting to see what kind of play they draw up. You want your guards to make a play for you? You try to get it into the post and take advantage of your size advantage. I think they're going to have a set that obviously has various options off of it, but we'll see what ends up happening coming out of this TO.
If it were me, I would try to get Weston the ball, which isn't, you don't need to be a Rhodes Scholar to figure that out.
There's all the makings of a Flyers game right now. I'm telling you, the band's here.
How you
all right.
doing?
We appreciate everyone who is tuning in and hanging out with us here. Norm Gravy, Justin Kinner live here at the University of Dayton Arena. 79-68. Carmen's crew is 1 point away. Dime, Woods, Best, Wesson, and Young are your Carmen's crew. Buckeye 5 looking to close it out here. And now you got to give Team Overtime a lot of credit. They've been very scrappy defensively since that target score was set. They've not allowed Ohio State to get anything easy. Weston out of bounds, sideline.
Try to get Woods and Weston in a two-man game.
They get the ball to Woods, who's being guarded tightly by O'Reilly. No, they're going to switch it up and put Howard on him. Kick it over. That's big time Jackson. The ball is loose on the ground. Weston puts it up, and he can't get the shot to fall. But that means he'll have an opportunity to end this at the free throw line. He has 2 coming his way. They just need 1 to win it.
They went into a 1-3-1 trap overtime.
I was mentioning this a little bit ago. You don't think coaching matters in tournaments like this, but there are big-time decisions to be made, especially in these situations, when to call a timeout, obviously, especially if you want to implement the Elam ending. And that's what we saw them do earlier when they were.
Well, you want to have your guys fresh, too.
And the first free throw is good, and that'll do it. After a year off for Carmen's crew, they come back, they regroup, they restructure the roster. A lot of Chris Holtman guys and Chris Holtman's Carmen's crew Buckeyes are 1-0, and they are now 17-3 in TBT history, by the way.
Second all-time in wins. They really played a solid game against somewhat of an inexperienced overtime elite squad. But I was really impressed with Carmen's crew, with Kyle Young and Wesson brothers, Trevor Thompson and Jalen Tate, Bess. This is a nice roster, and it's going to be a tough out. They're going to be a tough out for Red Scare. If Red Scare face them Friday, we'll be here for the game.
Absolutely. That's what we're anticipating. Everyone anticipating that Carmen's crew Red Scare matchup. Thank you. I'm good. Doug Hochschild, shout out to him, trying to make sure we're hydrated for the for the evening. All right, your final, folks. Want to thank Brandon Williams back in the WING studios for driving the bus for us and keeping us on air. Shout out to our sponsors once again: Frickers, Orion Sports Medicine, Timothy's Bar and Grill. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here bringing you TBT action. So that wraps it up for us. Again, your final: Carmen's crew gets to that target score of 80 in the Elam ending, and they punch their ticket to the second round, 80-68. The final, Carmen's crew will await the winner between India Rising and the Dayton Flyers Red Scare. I think we all want that Battle of Ohio right here at UD Arena on Friday night.
Be a great night Friday.
All right, everybody. For Norm Greavy, I'm Justin Kinner. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the TBT on WING.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper, and you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Get 11% off everything at Menards. Enhance your home scent with Airwick Air Freshener refills. They're long-lasting and contain natural essential oils to give your home a fresh fragrance that always smells welcoming. Use them with all Airwick Air Freshener warmers and save big money. A 2-pack of Airwick refills is just $4.78 after 11% rebate at Menards. Good through July 30th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're here so you can get a bigger boat. How so? We're the one-stop shop for metal, which means you can get any metal, cut to any size, ready real fast, saving you valuable time to convince your other half why a twin-engine center console makes sense for you and your entire family. Happy fishing, soldier. Metal Supermarkets, open to the public. Visit a Metal Supermarket store near you.
Research shows people ignore radio ads. While I want you to remember that Liberty Mutual customizes and saves you hundreds on home insurance, I know no one's listening, so I can say anything. I can even tell Jenny that I never stop thinking about us. Sometimes I almost call, but I only truly feel safe revealing this in the privacy of my nationally broadcast radio ad.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Gain presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer-lasting scent.
When you have trouble sleeping, it's tough. When kids have trouble sleeping,
Mom, I can't sleep. Dad, just one more story?
for nights like this, try Vicks Pure Z's Kids. Our great tasting gummies are specially formulated for kids with a unique blend of botanicals and a low dose of melatonin to support their natural sleep cycle. Best of all, they're drug-free and non-habit forming. Help your child fall asleep naturally with Pure Z's Kids Gummies. Consult with a doctor before use. For ages 4 and up.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
When our hometown auto dealers are doing well, the positive benefits are felt throughout the entire area. In fact, last year alone, car dealers had an economic impact of over $225 billion statewide, and they created over 291,000 jobs in our local communities. A thriving auto dealer brings more customers to our shops, restaurants, and service industries. With new car and truck inventory now back on the lots, we're all driving in the right direction. Alpha Media Dayton salutes the many local car dealers across our great state. It's a great time to buy. So next time you drive past the local car dealer, drop in, take a look. They're not just selling cars. They're fueling our local Dayton economy.
Ready for the heat that can't be beat? Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up the all-new Nashville Hot Chicken Sandwich with a hand-breaded premium chicken breast prepared Nashville hot style and pickles all on a brioche bun. It's Music City flavor made famous. Stop by Lee's and experience music to your taste buds with the Nashville Hot Chicken Sandwich for a great price. It's here for a limited time, so try it while you can. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
I don't want to go to bed at night dreading waking up in the morning, knowing that I'm going to feel like a rusty lawn chair, getting out of bed and getting opened up and not being able to really move for a couple hours really throughout the day.
For former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter and those dealing with daily aches and pains, QC Kinetics regenerative pain treatments are a game changer, providing long-lasting relief.
Go into a specific joint, a specific region, and then help promote that healing process using your own body's mechanisms to heal. I mean, that's been something that's pretty powerful. And there's no surgery, there's no downtime.
QC Kinetics natural treatments help the body heal and restore itself. No more rusty lawn chair.
It's no surprise to see people being willing to try this first, especially when it has such great results.
Pain relief the natural way. QC Kinetics. Call today for your complimentary consultation. Find out if you're a good candidate for treatment.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
To you, this is Joe and Amber on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
It's Joe and Amber on ESPN Radio. No Joe, no Amber tonight. Amber, we can only assume, is still in hiding after she was put on blast for how she says the word ketchup. And I can't blame her because that was embarrassing. And I wouldn't want to show my face or speak into a microphone ever again after that if I were her either. Instead of Joe and Amber tonight, I'm Joe and Amber. You've got us. He's Michael Rothstein. I'm Drew Carter. Thrilled to be here with you. The show, as always, is presented by Progressive Insurance. And if you want to get involved, the number is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. It's past 8 o'clock on the East Coast, which means Boeheim's Army is about to tip off in the basketball tournament. Of course, that is very near and dear to our hearts on this show because Michael and I are both obnoxious Syracuse grads, as are a lot of people in this industry.
I think our producer just walked out.
James is out. James actually said he'd walk into traffic if we brought this up.
Let's move along here, and we don't need to hear about Syracuse anymore today.
Let's move along. Because Mitch in Mississippi wants to discuss something we just brought up in the last hour of the show, which is Jim Irsay's recent tweet. He put this out less than an hour ago about how the CBA was negotiated, it was agreed to, and to change it because one position group feels undervalued. or feels like agents are claiming unfair play, that would be unfair actually in and of itself. And so this all comes from the running back discussion, the group chat, and the Zoom after guys did not get long-term deals following being slapped with the franchise tag. Let's go out to those phone lines again, 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776, and check in with Mitch in Mississippi, who's got an idea about who's responsible for the value of running backs dropping. Mitch, you're on ESPN Radio. What's up?
Hey, guys.
Mitch, you got us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we got you. What's up?
So I really thought about this for the last few days, and really the thing about it is the person that's really set the blueprint on today's state of the running backs is Mike Shanahan. I mean, when you really look at all his running backs that were very successful, they were either picked up late in the draft or they were undrafted, with the exception of Clinton Portis, that who he traded away and still had a successful running back. I mean,
it's a great point. It's a great point for Mitch in Mississippi. Yeah, so if you look back, if you play fantasy football, you know exactly what Mitch is talking about. Because 6 or 7 years ago when Mike Shanahan was in Washington, you always knew that if you drafted a running back for that team, it was going to be pain. It was going to be chaos in that backfield because he would not stick with a consistent running back throughout the season. Like I remember Roy Halou was the flavor of the month for Washington for a little bit. I remember Alfred Morris was either undrafted or a 6th rounder, I think out of FAU. He was the flavor of the month. And those guys were uber productive. And Mike Shanahan, again, I think it's a great point for Mitch. Mike Shanahan sort of revolutionized the position in a really bad way for the position.
Yeah, to an extent, but it was, I don't know if it was necessarily just Mike Shanahan. Like, let's not give Mike Shanahan too much credit here. And I say that mostly because what has happened in the NFL is that they moved just away from the running back being the centerpiece of the offense. Back in the 1980s, back in the early 1990s, the running back was the centerpiece. Remember, there was the days of the Herschel Walker trade, which made the Dallas Cowboys dynasty. Well, part of why that happened was because of how valuable running backs were then. Remember when Ricky Williams was drafted, the Saints traded almost their entire draft to get Ricky Williams because running backs were that important. Well, it went from being a running back league to a quarterback dominant league to being a passing league. And that almost automatically is going to take a certain type of running back and make them less valuable. Look at the running backs that are most valuable now, Drew. They're the guys like Christian McCaffrey, like a guy like Bijan Robinson who's drafted in the top 10, who they're not necessarily running backs. They're running backs in position name only, but they're really more of offensive, what I call offensive options, which is they are running backs, they are receivers, they can play multiple positions on the field. Those are your value running backs now. Very rare is a guy like a Derrick Henry, who is more of a strict true running back that's going to be able to get paid. There's one of him in the NFL, maybe two if you want to include Josh Jacobs. That's it. Like, that's part of the issue. Even as a guy like Saquon, who's really part of it, and now Austin Eckler, which is part of why this conversation is happening, they are guys who can catch balls out of the backfield. The position has changed, not necessarily the devaluing of it.
This is Joe and Amber on ESPN Radio. He's Michael Rothstein. I'm Drew Carter. Even using that Mike Shanahan example, you're right. It's kind of just a sign of the times because when he won back-to-back Super Bowls in Denver, Terrell Davis was their running back, and he was one of the best of all time, and he was a complete bell cow. We're talking about running backs here on ESPN Radio. It's been a topic the last 5 or so days ever since the Zoom call over the weekend. The latest, brush on the fire is Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, tweeting about how the CBA was agreed to, and to change it now would be wrong. Let's go back to the phone lines, 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Let's go out to Montana, where Andrew has some thoughts on running backs. Andrew, you're on ESPN Radio. What do you think?
Hey, how's it going? So I don't want to blame anyone. I've been watching football for a long time. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I can remember the year that Emmitt Smith held out for the first 2 games of the season. I'm not exactly sure, but I think they lost both of those first 2 games until Emmitt got his new contract. And it also disrupted, your flow. You're incorporating new plays, new verbiage, new everything. And these guys are missing it. Same thing with the quarterback. When he holds out, you don't get time to get on the same page with your team. my solution is, or something I'd like to offer up, is how come the Players Association can't step in here and go, look, if you're one-dimensional because you don't have a running game or a 3-down running back, you basically don't have anything. You're hamstrung. I mean, they're going to put all the pressure on the quarterback, and it's going to be a tough afternoon. Why can't we do something like a pay plan? And I never understood this about sports in general. Like, if you got guys accumulating stats, scoring touchdowns, gaining yards, catching balls, why can't we find a way to pay those guys like a pay plan base, like kind of how I get paid to sell cars? Like,
well, Andrew, and bringing that up, I think you're on the right track there. I mean, Dominic Foxworth, who used to be the president of the NFLPA, he said that on his podcast over the weekend as well. There's a player performance pool, which is worth over $300 million, and maybe some of that money could go to the running back. But there are a couple problems with that, Michael. Number one, you really cannot quantify a player's value to a team. If you just go straight statistics and say Saquon had 1,500 total yards last year, that means he's worth this percent of the Giants salary cap. Then the 5 offensive linemen are going to look behind them and say, aren't we blocking for this guy? Don't we deserve some of the credit? And then I know the Giants are a bad example because they don't really have any other weapons, but they could say, hey, they can't stack the box because, we have guys on the outside. And then Daniel Jones can say, hey, well, I'm a pretty good quarterback. I just got paid $40 million a year. Don't you think I played a role in some of Saquon's success? And of course, we could do this all day. And then the other problem would be if the NFL agreed to do that and put some of the performance pool money toward the running back position specifically, the owners would essentially be admitting that they're not necessarily colluding to keep the running back salaries down, but they would be admitting to underpaying running backs collectively. And they just won't do that. It'll never happen. Plus the fact that the CBA is fairly new, and as Jim Irsay said tonight, which sparked this discussion, they're not changing it.
No, they're not. But I'll go one step further. His payment plan that our last caller was talking about, that exists because it's called incentives. Agents, when they're making the contracts, when they're signing contracts, harder on rookie contracts, but on second deals, but you can potentially work it in a rookie wage deal. It's very unlikely. Is you can put incentives in deals. You can put incentives in contracts. We saw in this deal that Saquon Barkley signed yesterday, there's about $1 million in incentives. I cover the NFL for us over at ESPN. I cover the Atlanta Falcons, a team that's very run heavy. And one thing I can tell you is also every year I do a story at the end of the year of incentives, whether that's Pro Bowls, whether that's extra money. So it can be done, and you see it. Guys have it for yards. Guys have it for playtime. Guys have it for touchdowns, for team success. That's on the agents. So if you really want to do that, that's a way to do it as well, because you can do it in likely to be earned and not likely to be earned, one which counts against the cap immediately, one which doesn't. There are ways to do it, Drew.
As Joe and Amber on ESPN Radio, he's Michael Rothstein. I'm Drew Carter. We know Ryan in Texas and Brandon in Indiana being patient on the phone lines right now. We will take those calls on this running back hot button debate next. This is ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
ESPN Radio's NFL Two-A-Days continue. An in-depth preview of every team in the National Football League.
So badly want to bring Super Bowl here.
NFL Two-A-Days. 2 teams.